Well, we're back with episode number 5 of The Ones here, and for those of you who may be unfamiliar with this series, it's a series I started a little while back, and the goal is to get on all of the flight number 1s that exist in the world. Today we're going to be on JetBlue's flight number 1, which operates from Terminal 5 in New York's John F. Kennedy Airport down to Fort Lauderdale Airport in Florida, which is 2 of their largest bases. So this is actually the first flight of the day between these 2 cities, although because they are 2 of JetBlue's biggest hubs, there actually is a large number of flights between these 2 cities each and every day. JetBlue's Terminal 5 is dedicated almost entirely to JetBlue, so you can see a ginormous check-in area for check-in, bag drop, and all kinds of stuff like that. Other airline that you'll find here is Aer Lingus because they work so closely with JetBlue. Other than that, though, that's pretty much all you'll find in this terminal, but check-in was super quick and easy, and there was no crowds because of the amount of check-in kiosks available. Right across from the check-in area is the security line, and being that JetBlue is one of the largest carriers at JFK, they actually have plenty of security, so even though there's a huge line, there's only 10-minute wait for the longer line for security and 5 minutes for the TSA pre-check security, which is kind of a nice touch to have the estimated wait times here, something I've noticed some airports like San Francisco start doing. Through security here in Terminal 5 at JFK, you actually enter a central rotunda. There's 3 wings coming off of it, but this is your main area with all the flight information. There's a ton of seating, a ton of restaurants and places to hang out, and we'll take a look at that. But the central rotunda here is kind of the hub for the terminal, and then there's 3 wings that extend off of that. Looking at some of the quick grab restaurants and shops here, there's plenty of options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as a lot of entertainment shops with things like books or electronic accessories. All in all, though, there's plenty of shops to keep you occupied even if you are here for a long layover. And if you're traveling with kids, not to worry, because across from Gate 27 is a kid area with plenty of areas for them to play and you to relax while they get all of their energy out before you get on a potentially very long flight. Now, JetBlue does not have any lounge access, even for those transatlantic flights that they now have, but because Aer Lingus uses this terminal, there is the Aer Lingus lounge. However, it was closed this early because there was no Aer Lingus flights. The closest thing to a lounge for JetBlue passengers is actually right next to the Aer Lingus lounge, and it's the Terminal 5 rooftop, which actually unfortunately was closed this early in the morning, so I do want to come back and experience that at some point. But this is open to the public. Anybody can access that rooftop and just walk up there, and you can already find plenty of pictures and videos of it online, and it's a great place to hang out and wait for your flight, especially if it's a good weather day. If you're looking for a nice freshly cooked meal, SIBO here is going to be your main place to go in Terminal 5. They've got some quick grab options, and they also have a few different restaurants for you to choose from where you can go up and order, grab whatever you want, and then take it all to the food checkout area at the exit. So for example, on this flight, because it was early morning, I figured I would get some breakfast items and enough stuff to time me over throughout my flight. So I went to the H&H Bagels shop and got myself a morning bagel loaded with toppings and all kinds of stuff from their kiosk. While I waited, I grabbed some snacks from the center consoles here, which are available to grab for anybody at any of these restaurants, and then took my bagel and my snacks, walked out to the registers, and paid for all of it out there. It's a fantastic model because people can just go in, you don't have to wait for people paying, and you can grab whatever food you want before heading out to your gate. Speaking of which, here we are at Gate 6, which is going to be our gate to Fort Lauderdale. It looks like they're getting ready to board our flight, so we're going to get comfortable and wait for that. JetBlue operates an almost exclusively Airbus fleet with a few Embraer 190s. Most of their fleet is that or A320s or A321 variants, including the new A321s that they are using to get across the Atlantic Ocean to their new London destinations. Another thing you'll notice, like with our aircraft here that's missing a lot of its paint, is that they always have some sort of play on words on the word blue in order to name that given airplane. So as far as JetBlue's cabin goes, they don't have any first class or business class on the A320s or Embraer 190s, but if you are on one of the A321 variants, you will have a business class experience in terms of the Mint class, is what JetBlue calls it, and you'll find that on A321s and the Mint Studio on the A321s for the transatlantic service. But here on the A320s and the Embraer 190s, the best you've got is the extra legroom. For the Mint Studios and everything like that, though, I will have a video coming up early next year, so stay posted for something about that. Now, the fact that JetBlue's in-flight entertainment screen greets you by name is just one of the reasons why JetBlue wins the domestic in-flight entertainment category, and actually, in my opinion, is one of the best you'll find in the world. JetBlue does actually have some of the best selection, in my opinion, as far as movies and TV shows go. Plenty to keep you occupied, and then some on any of their scheduled flights, even the transatlantic ones that are a little bit longer. They also have other sorting options as far as the length goes, and plenty of options for other entertainment like maps and meditation and all kinds of stuff like that. Plenty of stuff to keep you occupied no matter how long your flight might be. In addition, they also have a picture-in-picture mode, so while you're watching your show that you pick out, you can scroll through their many options of different entertainment things so that you can keep yourself occupied while you search. Now when it comes to in-flight Wi-Fi, JetBlue's in a class of its own. You'll see on the home screen that it is fast, free Wi-Fi. That is completely true. It is some of the fastest Wi-Fi that I've found in the United States. It doesn't have outage areas for the most part, which is great on those long transcontinental flights. And in addition to that, it is free, which is pretty much unheard of in any corner of the aviation market, especially the domestic US market. Once you're connected to the Wi-Fi, you have other options as far as like reading the seatback card that would be in the seatback pocket directly on your phone. In addition, you can connect the entertainment remote on your phone to the entertainment on your screen. So you can pair the device to the screen, and then you have the buttons right on your phone. So especially if you're reclined, and I'm assuming especially if you're in a Mint seat, this is super helpful. Now, I have found JetBlue's planes to actually have significant legroom, and it's never really been a problem for me, even with the backpack underneath the seat. The seatback pocket has plenty of space for storage, and I always love when they have these extra pockets in the front. However, this thing in the middle here, if you know what that is, let me know, because I've never been able to figure it out. But the two things on the side, the extra smaller pockets for phones and accessories, is always a nice touch that airlines put on their planes nowadays. And if you thought JetBlue's limits were at in-flight entertainment, think again, because when their beverage service comes around and you order coffee, you're going to be getting the Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Some of the best coffee you're going to find in the United States on board an airplane, or even just in general. It's one of my favorites. Cream and sugar with that makes for a fantastic experience as far as the coffee front goes. Then they come around with a full snack basket and they will ask you what you like, and you can take whatever picks you want. I've even gone as far sometimes as to ask for one of everything, and they have been more than happy to help out with that. But today I just went with the Cheez-Its and the pretzels, but there were plenty of sweet and savory options. Now, the other thing I will share while we're in flight here is that the flight attendants on JetBlue were extremely happy to be there, and they made it very apparent to be that way. Every time they came through the cabin, they always had smiling faces, and they were greeting passengers and had small conversations with many of the passengers just as they walked up and down the aisle. And when I went back to use the restroom at one point of the flight, I had a full conversation with one of the flight attendants about how she enjoys being based in New York and her favorite destinations with JetBlue and all kinds of stuff like that. The crew with JetBlue is just another fantastic positive that goes along with them. It's all very pro-brand. And with that, welcome to Fort Lauderdale Airport, which is basically just a smaller and more domestic version of Miami in this area of Florida. And being that it's JetBlue's main hub, that's mostly what you're going to find here, as well as a lot of the smaller aircraft that go down into the Caribbean and the Bahamas and all that kind of stuff. Now, one thing I am curious about is if you've been following the news, you know that JetBlue just recently acquired Spirit Airlines, which is mostly for their slots so they can expand west, because at the current moment, Los Angeles is the only hub that they have on the West Coast, and even still, it's not that big. So I am curious to see how JetBlue changes now that they've acquired Spirit. I don't expect them to keep any of Spirit's aircraft, staff, or ways of life, and everything will be adapted into the JetBlue way, which I think is fantastic, but I'm curious to see how their experience and how their route network changes once they get all of that done. As you can see here on the departure board, most of the flights leaving here from Fort Lauderdale are also on Spirit or JetBlue, because those are the two bases here in Fort Lauderdale. A lot of them going to the Caribbean or South America, as that is the main embarking location for JetBlue and Spirit flights going to those areas. And now, as we head out to the hot and humid world of Florida, I would love for you guys to let me know down in the comments, if you've flown JetBlue, what your opinions are on it. Personally, my favorite airline of all time was Virgin America. I loved the product that they offered from start to finish, and now that they have sadly gone under as of 2018 after their acquisition by Alaska, JetBlue has really become my US airline, my number one US airline. Living in the West Coast, it's a little bit limited as far as the routes that I can fly with them, so their acquisition of Spirit is super exciting to me, and the prospect of being able to fly them to more and more destinations is very important to my route network, being from San Francisco and the West Coast area. But let me know in the comments what you think of JetBlue and what you think of the future of JetBlue now that they've acquired Spirit. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. This has been The Ones, Episode 5. Thank you.